Hello, friends. Welcome to week 8 of the REL 6 and 7 div preview review thing that we do. We need to come up with a real name for that. We were talking about that before.
Sure. Wonder Twin Hour.
Yeah, that could be a thing. This is week 8, and we are doing a replay week. So we've got a match to watch from REL 6 and a match to watch from REL 7. Like we said, we're trying to get everybody covered at some point, and REL 7 had to be annoying this week, and every single match had at least one person we've already covered in it. There were no double player matches, so we're being inefficient there, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So we're doing our best to get everybody covered at some point, at least once, but once we get close to the matches that matter for playoff standings, we'll probably switch over to mostly covering those instead. And if it means we miss you, I'm sorry. We tried. Schedule your matches better. So we're going to start off. We'll get right into this, I guess, right? Let's move into the first game, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Boom. So now we are small, and this is REL 6. We're going to take a look at Dire Sickfish and Fugu. That is BioWare for life, and All Orc No Play. Two teams that we haven't looked at yet, so that's mostly why we wanted to watch this, because we haven't seen either team in a game. And All Orc No Play is also near the top of the table, so we figured we'd take a look at one of their games as well. I am from the Vampire point of view currently.
That's what I'm doing as well. This was not a contested pick. We predicted the Orcs would win, so let's see how it plays out. You want to 3-2-1 it?
3, 2, 1, go. Now, take your hands off the keyboard and don't, press skip on anything.
I won't. Do you let the 15-second things count down?
Which 15-second things?
Like when it's a KO or a Kaz or something like that?
I mean, generally not, but we probably shouldn't if we want to stay in sync.
You mean we probably should?
Yes. Cheering fans. So, an extra reroll for BioWare for life, putting them at 6. Which is a lot. That's a lot of rerolls.
There's a lot of rerolls.
But, you do need them as Vamps. And thus, the line blocks begin. Yeah, so we both predicted the Orcs for this, but the contentious pick that we wanted to, which had teams that we haven't seen already in this division, hasn't played their game yet as of Wednesday evening.
Ooh, a KO on a line Orc. This, well, is a lucky break for the Vamps, to be sure.
Yeah. I like that Blodge Thrall. That's a serious Thrall. Yeah, one removal for the Vamps when they're generally going to be the one who's playing down players is always a good start.
He's not going for a foul, it looks like, which makes sense. Orcs have a significant bench. They don't really care about their line Orcs. I would only consider fouling value pieces like this plus strength Black Orc.
I got one of those recently. I'm excited to try him.
I got a movement bust on my Croxagore.
That's not the same thing.
That's not in REL. That's in other leagues.
Oh yeah, my strength orc is in the other league as well.
I was gonna say I'm expecting an immediate retaliatory blitz on the only Mighty Blow guy.
Yeah, do we have a? We don't have. Well, this is the control orc, right? We don't have really any serious Mighty Blow threats from these orcs.
A Mighty Blow, which will do the trick. It turns out you don't need much against Vamps. Oh no, he's actually going after the dirty player. I kind of like this, going for the utility player to make it harder for the Vamps to get things done.
Yeah, it's also going for the
value fouls.
It's also going for the thralls. They're more likely to have their armor broken, and every thrall that they lose is one less thrall they have to bite, which could cause problems down the road.
True.
So what are we?
In that case, I might have. No, I think that makes sense. So the Vamps, I expect, will move the ball up. They might even pass it off to this Blodge guy if the Orcs are so willing to. Yeah, they will.
Sure do. Looks like we're going to get a bit of a potato. So at this point, I mean, you just target that Thrall.
Yeah, you can just screen off. But yeah, you'll probably target the Thrall with a Blitz.
The good news is that he's Strength 4, so that makes it slightly more difficult for the Orcs.
Failure on the Blitz.
The dodge does not fail, though, so we're all good. We just have to bite that Thrall afterwards, or bite a Thrall afterwards. And we're going to bite the downed one, it looks like. Yep.
Ooh, doing a GFI for it, though. And this does mean he is biting a very expensive thrall. So in the case that this is a badly hurt or a KO, he's going to be sad. Nope, this is done though.
Well, I think he'd rather do that because he wants the other thrall to help attempt screen off his potato.
He is indeed. Yeah, of course he's going to dodge this guy out, and he probably would have re-rolled that Bloodlust and failed. Ooh, fails a dodge.
Snake Eyes. Well,
you were ahead of me even.
I am, yeah.
That is bad. That's a very blitzable ball.
Well, we start off with double skulls.
Taco guy doing work here.
There is another kicker on the bench, so yes, that does exist. So the Orcs are probably going to they can screen off here. They can also get a hit on the Vamp if they'd like to, which is probably what they'll...
Two kick pieces is interesting.
So who are we blitzing with? The tackle guy, and we're going to target the thrall. Yeah. And we do knock him over. That just limits the Vamp options for bites afterwards, right? If he wants to potato, he has no thrall to potato with, unless he dodges out the one that's on the Black Orc first. And that's a scary process.
Yeah, pummeled.
Yep.
So he does have a lot of rerolls, so hopefully he won't snake something again.
Yeah, well, he's got 5. He can dedicate rerolls to doing stupid things here if he wants to.
I don't like this, though. I think he was a little overly aggressive here, and the Orcs really weren't that committed. The Orcs could have easily swung out this side, as they did, so even with this player in place, it wasn't going to be that hard for the Orcs to get this block in here on a plus strength throw.
And he can still get his way. He doesn't have the easy thrall for the Bloodlust, but he's got a ton of rerolls, so he can just roll some dice and make this nonsense happen if he really wants to. He's got a lot of
yep. Turn 2.
Yeah, he's got a lot of rerolls to make it happen, and elects to do so. The Black Orc there didn't really the Black Orc there didn't accomplish a ton. It made the blitz play harder, I guess. But the Hypno Gaze worked, so that negated that part.
It was a 4+ Hypno Gaze. The KO does come back, so the Orcs are back at full strength.
Hey Jeff, and hey Archangel.
Going to be.
Nope. Well, so the Vamp score early, and now the Orcs are honestly okay with that. Really, they now get, that was only 2 turns, so they now get 6 + 8 turns of being on offense and punching thralls, which is exactly how Vamps lose. As long as he's careful and controls the pitch well, which this team is built to do so, it shouldn't be too difficult for Fugu to win this one. The turn 2 score is pretty good for the Orcs, in all honesty.
It is indeed. It got a high kick, so the plus Agi Blitzer can get under the ball.
And he does so.
Snatches it up on a 3+.
Foop. And we begin the offense on the line.
Ooh, another dub skull.
That's 2 dub skulls already in this game, which is not really fortunate. Vamps are good on defense over offense, really. But the thing is, Orcs are also just good at pummeling you, and now Orcs have a ton of offensive turns, and you're more likely to be doing the pummeling on offense, which, unless the Vamps play this carefully, could be bad for them. The good news is that they don't have, the Orcs aren't a super kill Orc team, they're a more control Orc team, so...
Ooh, rough injury on the Blodge Vamp. Oof, and a failed regen.
You are slightly ahead, somehow.
I skipped a thing to hopefully catch up to you, and apparently passed you.
Yeah. It's fine.
I paused for a second.
The thrower, or the blitzer just moved up.
The plus movement one? Yeah, he's screening off on the side here now.
Yep. And then we're moving some Orcs in. Did Mighty Blow do the thing there?
It did.
It did
Mighty
do
Blow
the thing.
did the thing. Well, I don't think the tackle did the thing. He rolled a POW. He did. Here comes a Vamp from downtown.
From downtown!
Ooh, rerolls fishing for the POW. That was unlikely.
You're
though, admittedly, the Vamps have 0 tackle, so...
You're 1 second ahead. Also, the Vamps have a ton of rerolls. They can afford that.
Oh, they can, for sure. He did not bring a thrall with him, so these are now some somewhat isolated vampires.
Yeah, if Fu can isolate that Vamp, like by marking him up with something, there's always the chance that he's going to have to dodge out to bite something now, and that's not a good situation to be in as a Vamp, really. If you happen to fail that dodge, you lose your Vamp, right? It's not super likely to occur, but it's just more chances to lose a Vamp than otherwise, so...
Yeah, I agree. The wrestle throw was probably a better option, though I don't think he had one in position to take advantage of it. Yeah, I know. The plus strength DP thing is brutal. Orcs have no problems rolling POW, must be said.
They've also rolled 2 sets of dub skulls, though.
Yes, well, as that's their only failed actions, I think they're okay with that.
Yeah. Well, we've got a semi-cage here. It's good enough, though, I think.
We have a cage around a vampire.
Yeah. Let's see Hypnogaze your way to this one. Mr. Mighty Blow.
Bloodlust fail. As he brings the block vampire in to Hypnogaze, which does fail, as it is a 4+ Hypnogaze.
Well, it's unfortunate. It was worth a try.
It does mean he is basing an awful lot against these orcs. This could be bad.
Yeah, well, he didn't have... Yeah. The Mighty Blow guy was going to get based no matter what. But even if he passed that Hypnogaze, he'd still be basing that Vamp.
That is the downside of Hypnogaze, to be sure.
Yep.
Does free out a dodge for this Mighty Blow guy, so he can get out of here.
Which is probably worth doing, considering he's based against a fellow Mighty Blower.
Does mean there is a real good blitz from the Mighty Blow tackle piece onto this Blodge Thrall, which I think...
yeah, that's tempting.
The Orcs will be happy to take.
Especially since the Orcs also have a pretty easy Black Orc hit on the Vamp and a pretty easy Black Orc hit on the based up Thralls. Well, Block doing a thing there, keeping that Vamp mostly safe, and he's probably not going to want to throw it with a Line Orc, at least not yet. There's the Thrall block I was thinking about. And here's the Blitz, but it's on the Vamp instead. Looks like he's trying to open up a... it's a Thrall.
It's on the Thrall.
Different.
He did KO him.
So he's trying to open up a space in the middle and trying to keep his Orcs sort of consolidated in the middle, which is, smart play. It's not targeting the most valuable piece ever, but since this isn't really a kill Orc team, you don't really need to worry too much about targeting Orc or kill valuable pieces.
Follow up. I don't like this follow. He now has his Black Orc on a Mighty Blow Vamp. And sure, you're Armor 9, but Armor 9 doesn't hold forever, Also, this is a blitzable ball currently. Oh, there we go. That makes sense. Forgot that this Lion Orc hadn't done anything yet. Ooh, real rough KO there.
Yeah.
2 Vamps down.
That is not nice as Dire Sick Fish. That's not where you want this to go. And that's the risk of scoring early like this, is that you give a ton of time for Orcs to just punch you. And when players go down, they have more freedom to keep punching you, and they're not under massive pressure to score. So those KOs are going to stay out until turn 8, I would say. And even then, we just get a chance at it. I didn't check to see what inducements we have. BioWare for Life does have a Babe, so that should help a little bit. But the fame is on the side of the Orcs.
Does re-roll the Bloodlust there, because he has 3 rerolls in 3 turns.
Yep.
Or 4 rerolls in 3 turns. Not punished for the Mighty Blow basing. The Orcs did just fine.
Almost.
So very close.
That's a Wrestle Thrall that is capable of deterring a little bit of a potato, and the Orcs are kind of screened.
They don't really need a potato, though, because they can knock this plus strength guy away, as they will now do.
Yep.
And then just kind of cage up somewhere in the middle here. They've still got 2 turns. They're not feeling too pressured.
No, but we do have the Wrestle Thrall available to... Ooh.
Plus strength Thrall is badly hurt and out.
We do have the Wrestle Thrall available as a safety for, at the end, closer to turn 8.
Must be said, the Vamps are eating a lot of injuries here, even for Armor 7.
That's 2 so far. Yes, I suppose. And for the lack of Mighty Blow on the Orc team, there's only 1.
There just haven't been very many stuns. Whenever there is an an armor break, it's a KO, or it's a an injury.
And the stuns have come from Vamps biting rather than blocks.
Another break, but this one is just a stun.
Speaking of stuns, we find one.
We're gonna see a Hypno Gaze on the guy, but he fails.
Sure does.
Ooh, and then a failed dodge.
Oh, that's not a good start. Well, good thing we have all these rerolls. Oh, I got a weird graphic glitch there. It didn't show me the blitz.
Yeah, me neither.
So I didn't know that he was blitzing. Well, we're trying to screen off, but that's not a very effective screen currently. Pretty easy for the Orcs to get by this.
The double wrestle helps a little bit, but yeah, with all this guard, he's not going to have trouble.
You can push the Vamp out of the way.
This vampire out of the way, yeah.
And no reroll for that failed dodge, unfortunately. There are a lot of Orcs off to the side, but that doesn't matter too much currently. It should be
positioning of this thrall does make it hard for them to clear off this thrall, which they do fail to do. So this is one thrall tying up 3 Orcs currently.
Yep.
He's going to pay for it with a block, but he's fine.
Oh, he did his job. One thrall just ate 3 Orcs, and that's pretty good.
Hungry thrall.
Yeah, so the positioning is a little weird for these blitzers, but we can certainly move them out of the way like he's doing to get the blitz at the Black Orc. Yep, there we go. And
he didn't need that assist, but I guess he just wanted to keep this Vamp extremely contained.
He did need an assist.
No, he's a plus rank Black Orc.
Oh, right, yes.
So we're going to see a kind of half cage, I think, here. Okay.
Agi 4 things.
He's trying to get away from these wrestle pieces, but he has failed to do so, I think.
He can reroll that GFI, though.
Wow, double GFI.
That was aggressive. Instant dodge fail.
I don't know that he needed to be this aggressive.
There had to have been a better way to do that. He could have if he could have tried the Hypno Gaze.
The one die.
Finds it.
It's a POW.
There you go. I was gonna say he could have tried the Hypno Gaze on the block guard Black Orc. It's not a good one because he's in 3 tackle zones, but if it worked,
3+2+ is good. Are we gonna? You better hurl it. Hurl it.
He does.
Atta boy.
Well done.
Good play.
Yeah.
Lucky on the POW, of course. But it was a, what, 5+, I guess? So making the 5+ is nice in terms of knocking the ball over. That does make it effectively impossible for the Orcs to score.
Yeah, I was going
to... They could do some kind of weird handoff pass play, but Orcs are not traditionally very good at that.
There was like a really hard Hypno Gaze play there, but if you failed the Hypno Gaze, you still could have done the Thrall thing. And if it did work, you could have done it better with a Vampire instead. So it was probably worth it to try.
Yeah, but he needed the Vamp for recovery.
You can always try the Hypno Gaze first.
Oh, no. Okay, that was a successful pass. A 4+ pass, but 3+ catch is good.
And we're going to do a handoff.
See a handoff.
This is
in a tackle... Oh, no, not in a tackle zone.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, the Orcs are going to score.
They sure are.
That's a thing.
No, they had to roll some dice for it, but they still got it. Orc makes the touchdown to make it 1-1. Oh, well,
yes. I'm saying if you failed the Bloodlust and the 5+ Hypno.
Oh, that's true. The Bloodlust could have been bad. The Bloodlust could have been bad. That is true. I forgot about Bloodlust.
I mean, vampires often seem very good until you remember Bloodlust's skill.
Yeah, I wonder where the other thralls were. I don't know if there was a thrall that could have done to help negate that a bit, but I don't think there was.
No, they were all pretty tied up. Everything was a dodge. Orcs will just base you mindlessly in this sort of a matchup, so.
Well, are we missing a... Were there not 4 Vamps? Or have been thinking wrong this whole time?
There were 4 Vamps. There's a KO and an injury, right?
Did the KO not come back?
It did not.
Oh, I thought he was a thrall. Okay.
That means he has not woken up. Oh, no, this is the only one.
Yep.
The only KO roll, but that was a 3+ that he failed.
Yep, but there were 2 KOs, so I mean, it's not totally unexpected that one of them failed. It's just unfortunate that it was the Vamp rather than the Thrall. So we're now we're doing a Vamp defense with 2 Vamps, which is a little unfortunate, and the Orcs are going to spend another 8 turns beating you up, which certainly is not how you want it to go. He did play that defense well, though. It's just unfortunate the Orcs managed to get their, like, 3+4+, or 4+3+, 3+2+, strung together. That's pretty likely with a reroll, though.
No. I would say it's like a 40% play, if I'm guessing.
It's better than not scoring.
Oh, yeah. You're not saying I wouldn't take it. I'm just saying it's a 4+, 3+, 3+, 2+. No, it's a 43%.
43 with a reroll.
My intuition was correct.
Which is not unreasonable, like, for it to have worked, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
It's a coin flip.
It was not a 0. Ooh, gotten a lucky injury on this lineman with the Mighty Blow player. Gets the ball spawn 2 closer to tackle, probably.
Yeah, well, helping to remove, or even just any sort of advantage you can get here as Vamps is really good, because you're kind of outclassed when you don't have that many Vamps on the field. So just even, getting the player advantage helps a lot. It would be better if it was like a tackle guy or a guard guy or something, but, take what you can get. Elf screen. Dodge fail.
Ooh, 1 in 9. Vamps having some rough dice.
Yeah, well, when you're Vamps, you gotta roll a lot of dice, so eventually you'll see some things not work. And he did have the POW that worked. And I think his bloodlusts have been pretty good. Then again, he also has only had 2 Vamps on the field for most of it, so it's hard to judge that off the top of my head. I haven't seen many, but there also haven't had to have been that many because of the 2 Vamps. My Vamp calculator, my mental Vamp calculator is set to 4 Vamps.
We'll look at the stats after and see how things turned out.
Pretty easy screen off here.
A lot of guards. So much guard on this Orc team. It's disgusting.
I mean, it's a control team. It is not a kill Orc team. It is a control Orc team, and he's doing well with that. Can we do anything here as Vamps? We can 2+ Hypnogaze on the tackle guard guy, and then we could have blitzed with the other Vamp, or we could do it in this order, which he's doing. Same deal, I guess. Other Vamp. Hypnogaze, and then although his position,
it's a 1 die on blodge, I think. So can you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yeah, you can do a 2 die, but you have to do a dodge. So yeah, you'd probably do the 3 die, or the 1 die, I should say. But the 1 die is not going to be great.
If he had put, that doesn't help. Yeah,
if he had put it over
right
here,
here,
he could have. Ooh, snakes another dodge.
If he put it here underneath the blitzer, he could have gone in from this way and also removed this assist and made it a 2 die without a dodge. But this positioning was bad. But other than that, that was the play that I would have made. I just would have put the vampire 1 space to the right, I think.
Yep, and admittedly, some more snakes are really not helping with this.
Yeah, snake eyeing the dodge means that it didn't work no matter how you positioned that vamp, it turns out. And some failures at critical times are not helping this vamp team, unfortunately.
They're not going to be able to get the ball very safe from Darth Revan, though, so they're going to have to be a little careful.
Yeah, he's not on the floor, and he's Agi 4, so it's always a thing to be aware of. Stunning.
The problem with Vamps sometimes is when you fail those critical rolls and you're left in base contact with literally everyone.
Yep.
You get to watch the armor break animation a lot.
Well, turns out he's okay so far. Only 1 stun. Could have been worse.
Yeah, the early injuries last.
Well, yeah, exactly.
The first half really put him in a bad position.
That's what I said, Dire Sick Fish, is that you have to roll so many dice, so eventually you'll see failures on something. And unfortunately, you got to fail on, a thing that mattered a lot here, in that you had a good sack on the ball. Happens with Vamps, when you throw tons of dice every turn, sometimes those dice show up as ones. It's certainly going to happen.
I don't like trying this dodge before you do the blitz with this guy, but worked out. Oh, you're doing a blitz with that.
So many failed dodges. Oof.
And it was done.
That was not a good... That did not go well. I mean, yeah, you can say you roll a lot of dice on the one hand, but on the other hand, you don't expect 3+ dodges to fail. Or 2 of 3+ dodges to fail.
Well, a 1 in 9 failure on that Vamp is nice. So the Vamp is still kicking around. He's going to take another block here.
He is surfable, though.
He is, but unfortunately, double defender stumbles means no surf.
He is now really foulable, though.
Orcs have not fouled yet, but I would be surprised if they pass this up.
Yeah, fouling a Vamp is nice, especially if you can get a bunch of assists on it. He's ahead players, so it's probably not terrible. You just only really have 1 or 2 line orcs that are kind of capable of doing it.
Getting in base contact again with the Mighty Blow. I don't love this. Some people rely a little too heavily on Orc armor. I mean, it breaks sometimes, and then you just didn't need to tie this Vamp up.
No foul, but we do have the surf threat still available from the Black Orc if the Vamp does choose to stand up. And if he doesn't choose to stand up, well, that's 1 less Vamp for the Vamp team, so the Orcs are okay with that. And, but his dodges aren't amazing.
You can just run a Thrall into assist, but yeah, that means the Thrall is getting surfed. 3+2+ to get your way out, or even a 1 die is not bad. That's the push is good enough.
Yep. So it keeps him safe from the surf.
Now you can't get safe from the surf without GFIs.
Oh, more failed rolls. Good thing you have 5 rerolls, but we're down to 1 on turn 12. And another dodge fail. I mean, like, on the one hand, you can say that Vamps should be failing things, but on the other hand, this is a lot of failures. Like, I think this is more than you'd expect.
This is definitely more than you'd expect. Lodge Thrall, staying alive for the moment.
Yep. So there isn't a super good path through here yet, because we still have the screen mostly intact, but the middle of the pitch is very open.
Extremely impossible. Yeah, they're going to move over and just make this an absolute nightmare.
Yep. Vamps can sort of reform in front, but then the Orcs can move to a different side and continue. They've got 4 turns and they're within scoring distance now, so it's going to be very difficult for the Vamps to stop them from scoring at this point if the Orcs play it well. And until then, the Orcs are going to punch Thralls. Now, there could be some Hypnogaze nonsense on the table if there were more Vamps, but there only being 2 and one of them being on the sidelines means that it's going to be really hard to pull that off currently.
That is a failed block.
Well, that's a start.
Yeah.
And the end, for that matter, of that turn.
Yeah, and this is a pretty easy stall out for the Orcs. They don't really have any pressure on them right now. So I would expect to see the Orcs take all the hits they can and then spend some time hanging out in the corner, punching folks.
I'm too lazy to work out if it was possible because of all these blocks on this line of Vamps and Thralls, but I'm pretty sure you could have surfed that Vamp with a Black Orc Blitz if you freed him up by making these blocks that he's doing now. Well, down to 1 Vamp. We'll see if the regen works. Nope.
It's not going to matter, to be honest, on turn 14.
No, but, I mean, being down to 1 Vamp now takes away sort of all hope of doing some Vamp magic, Because you kind of need 2. You want 1 for the Hypnogaze and 1 for the sack, and with only 1, you can't really do it anymore. Unfortunately. Also, regen fake skill. It has not worked yet. And it didn't work in any of my REL or any of my games this week, so regen definitely confirmed fake.
Orcs are just cleaning up in the SPP department.
They are now that the game's over. Like, this is a thing that happens. I've seen this a lot in my games in particular. There's like no injuries or no, like, not, well, there were some obviously, but like all of a sudden once the game is already over, the injuries just start coming. It's like, well, this would have been great like turn 2.
Once the game is over, it's often kind of snowballing in your control, so you're making a lot of blocks. So some of it I think is just like that sort of confirmation bias, but
probably
finds POWs when he doesn't really need them.
Well, he's just going for, you know, anything he can at this point.
Yeah, minimizing damage, trying to get some blocks in.
Yep.
So this game is over, so we can probably skip out of it.
Might as well finish it. Feel free to skip things now, though. But it's only 2 turns. Might as well see the end.
They're going to base to see if they can force some dodges, and
they sure will.
Some failed rolls. I think it would be smart to wrap this blitzer around to get in behind.
Yeah, this Vamp has no trouble dodging out from where he is currently. Makes it a bit harder.
Especially as you're hitting him.
That'll make it a lot harder. And he goes down. This is the Mighty Blow piece. And we do break armor.
Just a stun.
Well, at least this one isn't injured as well. Are any of those permanents? I'd like to know.
No, it was all badly hurt.
Badly hurt for both Vamps?
Yep.
Yeah.
So no damage sustained so far, at least.
That is true. None of them MNGs or anything on the thralls?
Nope.
Okay.
I think everyone was badly hurt.
What's a failed dodge? Gonna reroll it.
1 in 9 dodge.
Another 1 in 9 dodge. Wow. Good lord. Alright, so now we're probably just gonna see. He has a reroll, so he can take a greed block if he wants.
Yeah, I'd take some greed 3 dies.
Yep, I certainly would. 1 down.
AV bust is just a stun.
I think you played mostly fine, Dire Sickfish. There was like 1 or 2 things where you could have positioned Vamps slightly better, I think. And Saima has offered a bit of advice in chat as well. It's probably worthwhile listening to. He plays a lot of Vamps. He thinks you should be more active with your thralls, I think. But a lot of this came down to failing critical rolls, unfortunately. And that will happen with Vamps, but I feel like it happened too often this game. More often than expected.
Yeah, and the early... I mean, you had 2 Vamps this entire game, despite having a Babe. That's pretty unfortunate and pretty unlucky, if we're honest.
Right.
Like, it's not the sort of thing that is terribly deviant in terms of, like, statistically, but it's the sort of, like, little thing that can just totally cause a game to snowball out of your control, so...
Yep. Well, do you want to watch the...
Game number 1.
Yep, there is a Vamp. There is one more Vamp turn, but we don't really need to watch a couple line blocks.
Hey, look, the Vamp came out.
So let's take a look at those dice rolls. We'll look at this game when we go over the results, I guess. But I just wanted to see, yeah, like 51% dodges. That's bad, right? Like that is very unlucky, honestly. Considering most of them were 3+. There's some 2+, but still, you'd expect it to be more around like the 3+ mark rather than the 4+ mark, like this is showing.
Yep. Rolled a lot of 2s, which probably explains a lot of those 3+ failures. Bloodlust are pretty good.
Yeah, Bloodlust
like
are as
average.
Expected, yeah. I just didn't see many because only 2
probably
Vamps.
about expected. Injury, 5 failures on 15 attempts is above average, 25% CAS rate. I actually don't know what the CAS rate is.
Let me pop up our title screen for a second so I don't spoil anything else. And we'll go to Div 7 and look at the game that we have there.
Yeah, 25% CAS rate is pretty high.
I mean, as Vamps, you kind of have to go for the home run plays, right? That's how Vamps play sometimes, right? And we were going to watch...
Ironmaster versus Not Nihilok.
Yes, Yheree to Conquer versus Scaled Measures. Let's get into this replay.
Sure. This was one where we had a contested thing. I believe I said the Lizards would win, and you said the Norse would win.
Correct, yes. That is the contested pick here. So let's, now that we've skipped that part, skipped the score, we can jump into the game. Looks like we've got Slibbly.
I love Slibbly.
And let's get to the point where we are setting up and then pause. Okay, I am paused, ready to go.
Scaled measures chose to receive. Can be brave versus Norse. They do have the potential for a lot of punching.
Have you pressed?
I haven't let it go.
Okay.
It's paused. I'm just kind of remarking on things.
Sure. Are you good to go?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. No skipping.
So it's worth noting that the Norse do have a 3-man bench, which is quite large by Norse standards, of course. So the lizards are unlikely to cause the Norse to ever go below 11 players, barring some catastrophic injuries. Lizards do have a lot of Mighty Blow. For lizards, they have 3 at this level, which is pretty high.
But the Norse and Ironmaster have Drax Pavement Pounder, who is the killerist.
The killerist killer. Is he a legend yet? No, not even close.
Nope. He's got some more skills to go. He's only got Mighty Blow piling on Tackle Pro and Dauntless.
He's only got 1 more to go, but it is a long haul.
Yes. I don't even know what you take as your last skill there. Juggernaut?
Juggernaut?
He's already got Frenzy.
Yes, indeed.
Cancel the stand firms. It'll cancel wrestles basically on blitzes.
Yep. Changing Weather Nice does nothing. Ball's in a good spot for the lizards. Oh wait, no, the lizards chose to receive. Sorry, I read that wrong for some reason. Still sensible though. The Norse can cause a lot of damage, so you really want to prevent that as much as possible.
Slibbly just doing a push, but grab is a thing. That's such a weird animation, watching the lizard punch him and then the guy slide backwards.
I don't like this leaving the Norse disconnected thing. I would have liked to see him put some players on this. We're also doing a handoff.
Fail.
Which fails. That was really risky, and I don't know why he did that. There's no reason to risk that 1 in 9 when you could just put the ball here and save. Like, the Norse can't make it that far back. They're not that speedy, and you just gave away your blitz.
Well, I mean, the runners on the edge. The runner on the edge currently has a free blitz on the skink.
Yes,
with 0 GFIs.
The ball didn't need to be there. Is my point.
Well, yeah, exactly. We said the Norse aren't that speedy, and he can reach.
The Norse aren't speedy in the sense that they couldn't have reached you if you just ran into the backfield a little bit.
Yeah, elects not to do that.
Does 1-9 the blitz, so has to reroll it, but does get rewarded with an armor break.
He has blocks, so he didn't have to reroll that. That was mostly greed, I think.
That was mostly greed. There might have been a frenzy trap.
Well, it was block. If he selected both down, neither of them go anywhere.
He wanted to get him out of the way, so he could get this runner on the ball who picks up fails to pick up.
So. He could have done the same thing but he could have blitzed the skink to make that easier of a pickup instead, and I think he could have done the same thing, right? But he wouldn't.
I've got a couple of notes on this LOS too. Like, you really should have the Croxagore to take a block in there. You really want to maximize your Mighty Blow hits versus Norse. So passing up on one to keep the Croxagore 1 square back where he needs to roll a 2+ to even be involved. Ooh, lucky injury on the star thrower.
Well, that's nice.
Instantly gets appoed.
Because he got minus strength.
Yeah, he's MNG'd now. Someone will be very happy about that. So this is a good development. He is going to have to make a 1 in 9 block here, though.
Yep.
Which he does not 1 in 9.
Yeah, the Norse could have gone after the ball in a slightly different way, but it would have had less players on it. So I think this way is also fine.
Ooh,
it's probably better.
Pickup. Jesus.
Neither
ball is just
greased in squig oil.
It's just a greased pig. Okay, so we're pulling back a bit to support this. Makes some amount of sense. Just don't leave. He is leaving himself with no block from this guy. I guess he was facing 2 Ulfs, so that was unlikely. But that does mean lovely Mr. Clawguard Tiny Arms is about to get punched. But
he's fine.
A 1 in 9 again.
We'll try a second time.
There, fine.
Don't try a second time, because if you get a push there, that is a frenzy trap.
That is a frenzy trap, yes. This one was not. This one is. But now it is not because he brought in an assist and is rewarded, of course, with double Defender Stumbles and an armor break. He's at 100% armor breaks on Source so far.
Yeah, not bad.
The Lizards do not have a Babe, so that is a dangerous KO to take on a block guard source.
Ugh.
Honestly, I would have probably dodged him out facing 2 Mighty Blow Frenzy pieces. I know you were going to fail it, but the ground...
Yeti Blitz. I love it. The
Blitz onto the Kroxigor fails. Second one is fine.
The corn player.
He had to make for that. Ooh.
Everything good. The corn player in me loves this because that's such a very bloodthirstery thing to do.
We get a foul on the block Kroxigor, who is injured.
Oh my gosh.
Are nuts.
This is going very well so far for Ironmaster, certainly.
I mean, he ate one bad injury, but he does make a dauntless 1 die that works on this. Oh, I can feel the tilt.
Yeah, I know. What is armor 9?
You get a Mighty Blow tackled one on the runner who goes down, and then the Kroxigor is going to smack the Yeti, who is of course perfectly fine. They're going to get a follow-up hit.
Why does everybody have a block big guy? I want a block big guy. I've never had one.
I would have considered re-rolling that one. Ooh, now we have a claw block piece based up.
I've never had a big guy roll doubles. I would love to have that happen at some point in my life.
They're just going to mutually pitch clear each other, it seems, but the Lizards have fewer players, so this will not go well for them in the long run.
Yeah, and Norse losing linemen versus Lizards losing Saurus is not a trade you want to take as Lizards.
So he did fail something at the very end, but it was just a dodge from tackle, so it doesn't really matter. But this is a hittable ball. No, it's not.
I mean, the Skinks are hittable by a tackle pro guy at least, which is...
he's going to base up, which makes sense. Now we're going to see a assist come in on Slibbly, who is about to eat a Yeti claw to the face and probably explode based on the Kaz dice we've seen so far.
Just explode. Not armor break. He will blow up into many pieces.
Just pop like a balloon. Nope, the Yeti is still stuck in base contact. He is going to take a Mighty Blow hit, or the Slibbly is rather.
Double stand for him.
Slibbly is dead.
You're ahead.
All right.
You're ahead of me.
Well, Slibbly's dead. Spoilers, folks.
There he is. Slibbly's dead. Well,
Ironmaster. Yeah, just wow. These dice are insane.
The Kaz dice, certainly. That was a 6, 10, a 4, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 on the dice there.
Not to mention the POW, which was also a 6.
Dodge! The dodge runner doing a thing. Yeah, this is not going well for Lizards already on turn 4.
I like this. I don't like that push location. It means because of no guard, he can't get a... Okay, we're potatoing a bit.
Well, the Norse have committed heavily to the left side here, and like you said, they're not as speedy as Lizards, so without some dodges or at least clearing blocks, he doesn't really have a way of stopping the Skink currently.
Does get a nice 1-die takedown on the Yeti. Dodge from tackle is good, so we're going to have a bit of a screen for this. 2 dodges from tackle means we will have a sideline cage.
Boom.
But yeah, the Kaz dice have been unreal. I mean, if you had exploded to Claw Mighty Blow, that's fine. But to just another Mighty Blow hit, causing yet another armor break and yet another injury.
The Claw hasn't actually done anything yet. He has not knocked over a player with Claw.
AV9 is fake this game.
It really is. So we're going to base up some Skinks and we're going to punch some Saurus, and it's going to be hard for him to... I mean, the Skink can't score currently, so there is that. I mean, he's got a couple players, including Drax Pavement Pounder, capable. But we still have the sideline cage ability going on. Oh, we do... Frenzy is a thing. Are we...
That was a GFI to even... It was 2 GFIs to even make that 1-die block.
Yeah, so he couldn't follow up.
Plus dodge out.
It was a lot of things that just happened, and it was very hard to talk about all of them. Was Frenzy, couldn't make the second block because it was double GFI to get the first block, so not enough movement to the second one. Tried to dodge it, 4+ dodged out the Ulf, and it worked. But now we have the Skinks sort of screened off in a reasonable way, at least. That makes it hard for them to progress forward.
We're going to see a Skink block here, which is a 1 in 9, of course.
Yep.
Reroll is fine. Armor break on the ridiculous lineman results in an injury.
I like this game. Just everybody's dying. It's fine.
It is a badly hurt. I assume you're caught up.
Yeah.
So we are going to see a blitz now coming in on the plus strength frenzy lineman.
Another armor break, but this one is just a stun. And this does free up an avenue for the skinks to continue to potato, but there's a rest
pavement pounder
and
a wrestle strip ball.
Yeah.
Which do you tie up, Ben? Which do you tie? You tie up Drax. I think Ironmaster is super okay with this. He's just going to kill this skink.
And then blitz the other one with the wrestle strip guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if tying up Drax was the best idea there.
I don't think potatoing was the best idea. You had some consolidation of your forces here. It made sense to just kind of
goodbye edgy 5 skink.
Ooh, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you could have screened instead of because you just gave away a free block against Drax. And
I think you just could have stayed back in this little clump of lizards. You had, like I said, reasonably consolidated your forces. You had the strength advantage that he wasn't going to be able to outblock you here very easily. I think that made a lot of sense. This is a frenzy trap.
It's fine though.
Never punished.
Well, it wasn't really a massive frenzy trap. It was 2 into a 1, and the 1 dice when you have block. It's just a 1 in 6.
All frenzy traps are massive frenzy traps.
No, I think even if you were dedicated to potatoing there, I think there was a better way of doing it than marking up Drax Pavement Pounder with one of your skinks. Because that's dangerous. Oh, well, there's a dead elf.
Oh, and he has no Apo because of the strength bust, so that is just a straight up dead elf.
Yep. Well, this is a violent game on both sides. That's a block Mighty Blow elf, who's 4 SPP away from leveling, who's now dead.
Elves are very hard to level. Ironmaster's got to be sour about that.
I mean, he's still got Drax, so...
Oh, the 2 block big guys just blocked each other.
Good job. Block big guys with block, just blocking around like blockers.
Ooh. Considered running backwards, but instead chose to foul with his only remaining... Oh, no, he does have another one on the bench, but he is down to 2 skinks. Foul does not break armor. It was an 8+. 0 assist foul on AB7.
God, what a bloody game.
Oh, pick up fail immediately.
Yep.
If this had been a 1 in 9, I would have heavily questioned Ironmaster's ordering here. Oh, but the pass is a fail, so he's not going to take any blocks. That means he's going to be getting hit a lot this turn.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know how much I like that.
Yeah, he's giving up a block on the Crocs against the Claw Mighty Blow, which is bad, and there's at least 1, potentially 2 or 3 blocks against Armor 7 Norse players, so...
Oh, that's a really bad bonehead.
Yep!
Break tackles in to take a hit on the lodge piece, not getting anywhere.
Nope.
Possibly just trying to open an avenue for a skink who promptly 1 in 9s.
There's a lot of dodge failures in both the games we've looked at today.
Yeah, just a cavalcade of failure, really, on both sides.
Everybody's a failure. Everybody in REL 6 and 7 is a failure. Everybody.
You heard it here, folks. Your recappers think you're trash.
Every single one of you. Oh, here comes the blitz from Pavement Pounder. Fails the Dauntless.
Failed into it.
Wait, Dauntless failed. Pro succeeded. Dauntless failed again. 1 die skull is what happened there, right? Is that what happened? I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Oh, the Yeti finally goes down to the best armor break.
Oh, Yeti's injured. Yeah, the claw did nothing all game, and then eventually just gets broken by the Croxigar. So this game is... I'm so glad we watched this.
Game is stupid. Neither team has any players left, though it's worth noting the Norse are going to get 3 from the bench, so this still heavily favors the Norse. Barring some shenanigans here. Fables.
Yeah, the first half has just got so much nothing happening other than in terms of playing the ball, but as soon as we get to the second half, the Norse will just win because they have players and the Lizards don't. But currently they're just sort of removing each other one for one, but neither of them are capable of doing anything other than that.
What are non-armor breaks, both of you?
I don't know. There goes another Ulf.
Both benches looking pretty sad right now.
Yep.
The 1 die 3+ Dauntless is good.
Yep.
But does not get a knockdown.
I like how he does that before he stands up anybody or anything.
Well, I mean, that's the last turn, so it doesn't matter. Drax Pavement Pounder taking down one of the only remaining skinks, who is KO'd. Do you piling on that? I don't think you do. Actually, it's stunty. I would pile on that.
Yeah, pile on it. It's stunty. Nope.
Another armor break.
I was gonna say he could have made the 1-die Dauntless not a 1-die if he stood up players, but this allows him to get more blocks.
Oh, coming in for a 4+ dodge double GFI foul
On a stunned Saurus.
Yeah, that was brave.
Failure.
Yes, 3 bench does not get the Norse back to 11 players, but 0 bench certainly doesn't get the losers back to anything.
They had 1 bench, I think.
1 bench because of Slowly. Yes.
Well, where did these KOs go? We get the Ulf back. And
we get the skink back, which is not quite what he had in mind.
No, I think you'd rather have the Saurus back.
He has 7 players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So 2-player advantage for the Norse. Big thing is, those Saurus matter so much.
Yes.
That having
Saurus are basically 2 players each, and he's down 3. So.
Yeah, and skinks are like half a player each or whatever.
If we're being generous.
I mean, skinks are good, but not when it comes to defending. Or outbashing players. Or outbashing teams, I should say. Well, let's see if the Norse do any more nonsensical armor breaks in this half.
Oh, never mind. We're playing our game at 10:30 Eastern, so I have lots of time, and you probably won't be able to watch it. It's super late.
It's also it's 1 minute. I mean, it's not going to take an hour.
Yeah, but 10:30 my time, so 11:30 yours.
Oh yes, no, I can't do that. Probably not. I mean, I could, but I don't really want to.
That's fair.
Yeah, Yheree to conquer, getting a reroll, and a sidekick means if he fails his pickup, it could go into the crowd.
Gets another armor break because why not?
You're ahead by like 2 seconds.
So lots of naked armor breaks on AV9.
Yep. You just got the other lineman just moved to the. Here comes a blitz.
Blitz comes in. It's a 1-die.
Just a push.
It's a push.
But it does. It's opening up. The defensive line of lizards.
The Dauntless, so now he does succeed. So Drax is going to punch this guy.
If he wants to pile on,
follow up. Guess what? He does.
Unsurprisingly,
it's an armor break, and it's an injury.
No, of course. Ankylosaurus Andy is injured.
What the fuck? And here comes a hit on the Croxagore. First block is good. He's fine. This is not a frenzy trap. Oh no, it is. I lied.
But he's fine because block. Well, the Norse have so much space to get through here wherever they want. There being only 3 Saurus and a Crocs to form defense, and they're all going to be tied up forever. Are we going to foul again? Sure are.
We are. And then it's an injury.
Oh my god! What is this game? Well, let's just blitz this killer and see if we can hurt him.
We can, but it's done.
We can break it. What is armor?
That's not the killer. The Drax is on the ground.
Sorry.
I think Drax might get fouled, though.
What is armor? I don't know.
No, Drax might not get fouled.
It's hard to get a good foul here without...
He's going to 1-assist foul, and he's going to take it.
Yeah, I guess I would.
I mean, he's doing it with the plus movement skink in an effort to get the skinks safe, I think. He did it on the foul? On the stunned one.
I would have done it on Drax Pavement Pounder.
And now he's basing...
Well, the thing is, if you failed the foul on Drax Pavement Pounder, he has jump up into hitting your skink. Potentially.
It's true. But I don't understand the basing of this lineman here. He's just gonna, bring 1 assist over and then punch you.
Yep. Here we go. Oh, we got a blitz coming in first.
On a skink.
Finds a pal.
Skink's fine, of course.
Yeah. Armor 7 for lizards is fine. It's just the armor 9 that's fake. Dodge being dodge. Here's the jump up into Dauntless on the Crocs, gives us a 2-die.
And an armor break.
And an armor break. And I imagine we're going to tape on that piling on button. Oh, no, he KO'd, so no pile on.
That was a 10 on the armor and an 8 on the injury. exactly what you needed to KO something with Big Skull, as long as you have Mighty Blow.
Now we try to pick up the ball.
And it goes fine.
Well, it turns out when your opponent has 5 players left and only 2 of them are Saurus, you can kind of just hold on to whenever you want. And we just get a push on the Ulf.
We do get a POW on Drax Pavement Pounder, though.
Does Armor 7 break?
Oh, he's going
No, it
for
does
a
not.
roundabout foul on Drax, though.
You are
Double GFI.
you're like a second ahead. Here comes the foul. And it does not work. Dodge out with the skink. To, I guess, try to keep him safe, but I mean, jump up failure, so we're not, and then pro failure, so we're not getting the free block on the skink, which makes sense to do first, right? If you can just get that free hit on the skink, you might as well take it, because you're probably going to blitz somebody else anyway.
It's not worth committing the blitz now.
No, but if you can get the free hit, might as well take it. Here comes the blitz, Dauntless working. Just a push. Rerolls to double push into double both down. So Sora stays on his feet for now. Nope, there's a POW. And an armor break. He's just to see. This one is just stunned though.
This game makes me sad as lizards. This is kind of how my game versus Ironmaster.
This game pleases me because I don't like lizards.
Lizards. This game makes me sad as someone who plays a lot of lizards.
This game makes me happy as someone who hates playing against lizards.
Got a 2-assist foul on Drax Pavement Powder now.
Oh.
Sent off, no armor break. He's safe.
Kermit Jafrog is safe for now. My name is Kermit Jafrog. Are we going to see a pitch clear?
Kind of looks that way, don't it?
Oh,
we can probably just skip out of this.
No, we haven't seen the touchdown yet.
All right.
We got to confirm the score. We don't know. Some nonsense could happen.
Drax trying to break a skink.
Does
indeed break a skink. I mean, that's more expected. A Mighty Blow piling on hit on a skink resulting in an injury is...
not unexpected.
Yes, quite.
3 players left on the field. I imagine we wind up for a gigantic foul on this Saurus as well.
Not a lot of lizard love in the stands today.
Never a lot of lizard love.
I have lots of lizard love.
Alright, now which one of these Saurus are we fouling?
The niggled one?
There's the run
Lots
up.
of run up.
Foul. Oh, no armor break. That's an armor break, though. Injury! More injuries!
Sancho Strong going down. He is MNG'd.
More removed players. Going for a foul, just trying to get his guy sent off. Also on Drax.
Well, possibly trying to kill Drax. There's a bit of sadness here. That would have armor broken a tree. Sadly, it was only a 7 on the injury dice.
There's a bit of an overlap there. Both trying to kill Drax and get your player sent off to keep him safe.
Yeah, a happy medium.
We're at the point where we can just cage in the lizards rather than caging up the ball. And we like to do so.
The niggled yellow going down. No armor break this time, though, but he is about to eat a foul, I suspect.
Well, we're blitzing, so I don't know who we'd foul with.
Can you blitz and foul?
I don't think so.
I don't actually know. No, you can't, it seems.
Oh, he's going to foul with the screening player.
Plus strength frenzy piece.
Yeah.
I mean, if you spam foul, you gotta kind of expect it in return.
Oh, sent off.
Yellow stunned and sent off, yeah.
Penetrated Igor. It's sent off. Look at that Liz Kaz box. It's a sight to behold.
It's a thing.
Well, instant foul. No results. And uphill blitz gets a skull both down. Rerolls into skull again. Down goes a lizard who gets armor broken.
I mean, that was a Mighty Blow hit, but still.
Just another armor break. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, Nelly. I probably would have done the blitz with the break tackle guy.
Jump up works.
Since.
And we've POW the skink. He's okay, but we pile on, unsurprisingly. And he's dead. Okay. 2 lizards left. Oh my god.
Possibly not 2 after this foul comes in.
Oh god, I'm sorry, Nylock, man. This sucks. At least one of the deaths was you're the star player and not one of your actual players.
I don't know that I would make that argument as very compelling. Oh, red die.
No.
Gets a push. Can he break tackle his way out? Nope. Rip. Well, he's still got his Apo, so I guess he's just resigned to eat it at this stage.
Well, more fouls, I would say. Here comes dirty player. Gets the run up and foul. Nope.
Fouls aren't firing, but at this point it hardly matters.
2 lizards.
The right foul already fired.
1 die pow. He's fine.
Go for the ball.
Yeah.
Just kidding, you can't.
No. Well, are we
Setting
gonna
up your players in this position is brave, to say the least. Especially the one that's on Drax Pavement Pounder.
block number 1, frenzy. Block number 2. Oh, Source is okay. And here comes the pavement pounder block. Fails the Dauntless, but we still get the knockdown. And pylon. No. And now I imagine we see the run up into touchdown to make it 1-0. And that's a whole lot of Kaz Lizards. Good lord, good lord, man.
Yeah, I'm done.
Wow. Dead and injured 6 for the Norse. Dead and injured 8 for the Lizards.
Both KOs come back just in time for some line blocks. Let's see if the line blocks on the the no Apo AV7 Norse cause some damage.
Man,
My doubts.
can you one turn with 4 Lizards?
You cannot.
Oh, okay.
Not.
Well,
Certainly when none of them are skinned.
Squiggy has the same thought. One turn touchdown or no balls. Croxagore Vanity Pass. He has 15 SPP. Like, Croxagore Vanity Pass. Come on.
Please stop talking forever.
No.
No.
No. Oh.
Mighty Blow not doing a thing.
Mighty Blow do a thing this time? We'll find out. Level the Croxagore. Get something out of this. Nope.
Just a stun. Needed the Mighty Blow to even break armor.
Alright. Respect foul?
Respect foul.
Just
Always
a
scary
stun.
when you see them turn over on a respect foul.
Yeah. Well, that was a game. That's a lot of SPP for both sides, but especially for Ironmaster.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Where is the Lizard's armor? The Lizards failed 45% of their armor rolls, which seems statistically correct. The best kind of correct.
Yep.
Just kidding. That's atrocious. Injuries. 35% failed injury rolls. Also a good sign.
Casualty, 71%. Yep. That was the thing.
That was a game.
Certainly was.
Things happened.
Certainly was. Well, we're in Div 7. Do we want to just look at Div 7 while we're here?
Sure.
So that was the game we're watching, and now we'll go into the results. So we had a 1-0 admin win here, I believe, for the Crawdad Zydeco experience. So nothing to talk about there. Oh, it's worth noting that I predicted a Norse win and you predicted a Lizard win there, so
You did.
it's points for me.
You get 3 points.
Make sure we keep track of these points. So in the Wood Elf versus Lizard match, so that would be Luke and Cake. We predicted Lizards, and the Lizards did win 2-0. Looks like the Lizards they sustained they sustained 2 casualties, but they also The Wood Elves sustained 2 casualties and 4 KOs, and a lot more blocks. So I feel like the Lizards kind of controlled that for the most part. Wood Elves.
Yep, aggressively basing up. 47 blocks against Wood Elves spell. Sounds like a lot of maybe a little aggressive basing, a little aggressive play style.
Yep.
Resulting in a lot of taken blocks, and eventually AV7 busts, even if you don't have a lot of money below him. It's on the other side.
Yeah, so Cake took a couple injuries for it, but definitely controlled that game pretty well, I think, and ends up coming at 2-0.
Pretty good block dice. Definitely above average in the block dice department. D6s. He could not pick up the ball to save his life.
Nope.
Injuries dice were kind of bad, but on like a small sample size, it's hard to say. And 5 failed catches, so I'm guessing those were some sore handoff attempts, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
And he boneheaded 6 out of 8 times. It's a 2+, and he failed almost 50% of them. Always a good sign. Kind of a mixed bag for Cake then.
Yeah.
Sure. Block dice for the Wood Elves were very pushy. And very both downy, which can be kind of bad. And their armor was about what you'd expect.
So next we have the Norse Unleashed and Friendship is Massacre. So that's... who's the Norse Unleashed? Why can't I remember who coaches them? Hiroto and Morley. We predicted a win for the Undead.
Did not happen.
We were both
Hiroto
wrong.
Was styling on me in chat. He was styling on you too, but you don't answer to pings. So.
I do eventually, but for the most part I get pinged while I'm at work, so I don't check very often. So, yeah. I mean, I just don't talk on Discord very often in general.
Yes, it's true. That is a Niggled plus Agi ghoul now. I think that he ate the Niggle this game, maybe? It's hard to tell. And a loner getting the MVP, and the player was not found. So he did not get hired by Hiroto, who has to rebuild his team and can't afford to buy loners, unfortunately.
Yeah, he got some. He got 14 SPP out of this game, though, which will certainly probably help in that rebuild procedure or process, whatever.
Yep. He had stab, so I'm guessing he had Zara, which is always nice. Zara did not do very well in the stabs. She made 9 of them and failed 6 of them. With stakes, you'd expect that to go a bit better than that, but
yeah, that's true.
That's what it is.
But there were, let's see, 3 casualties sustained and 8 KOs sustained for Morley, which probably is the story of the game right there. Losing a lot of players, like just having them off the pitch means that the Norse can, use more speed and movement and stuff rather than just punching you, because they have way more open space and then they can score.
Yeah, for sure.
And they have done that, making it 2-0. Let's see. Nothing particularly crazy other than the stabs, I guess, in the dice logs as far as I see.
Real interesting page when we go on to the Rotting Snatches versus the Orcs, is we can see that William Faulkner, the plus strength orc lineman, is dead, and also ate the MVP, which would have leveled him. So player not found. 404. Looks like the Nurgle almost double blocked the Orcs, so the Nurgles got maybe some early injuries and KOs and really snowballed that match. Though they didn't really. They got 1 kill, 2 injuries, and 4 KOs to the Orcs, but those 4 KOs, depending on how that played out, could have crippled the Orcs' ability to fight back. So maybe that was something to do with it.
Hey man, that's a free rotter.
It's a free rotter indeed.
And
how he died. It depends on if he was actually killed.
Kills inflicted 1, so yeah, free rotter. And we predicted the Nurgle to win this, and they did. 2-1. Nurgle gaining some good SPP too.
Had armor of steel, it looks like. 82% success is high, even if they were all 89 hits. So, looking like they had some pretty sturdy armor. They kind of did well in general.
Only 1 foul appearance fail for Doof out of 17 hits. That's a bit above average.
Yeah, and his armor held up decently well, 74%.
Although
not a lot of D6 dodges, yeah.
A lot of 1s.
A lot of 1s, but that doesn't necessarily mean much.
No, a lot of them could have been on armor.
Tentacles failed 3, but small sample size and all that.
Yeah.
Duke's blocking dice were very pushy. Wow, so many blocking dice for the Nurgle. So many that it kind of is averaged out. So
yep.
Not a lot of variance there. Oh, never mind, this is both teams. The Nurgle had both downy dice.
Yep.
Next we have Sons of Sam and the Werewolf of Wall Street. So this is Cunning Foxpup and Lord Teton.
We predicted an Orc win, and we have an Orc win, 2-0. And let's see. Looks like the Orcs mostly controlled that game, to 10, 11 more blocks, way more ball possession. 3 KOs sustained, 1 casualty sustained versus 5 KOs, 3 casualties, and a death. So the Orcs outblocking and sort of outpunching the Necromantic, and I imagine that probably tells the story of that game.
Lord Teton's team has a ton of Mighty Blow, and that's a huge problem for AV8 teams like Necro, especially if they eat maybe an early removal on one of their flesh golems, or which kind of the pillar. They don't really have the strength to fight Orcs unless they get really early in removal, so it can be a really tough matchup, especially early on. Yeah. I do see that Albert Fish, the lineman who was wrestled with an injury, is not found, so I guess that was a perm and resulted in him being fired.
Unfortunate. Do not like.
So an effective death on each side.
Yeah, that's true. So the Orcs take that out most likely through outbashing, out controlling the other team. Whether that was it probably turned over in the first half or scored in the first half, and then whichever way. I doubt this was just one touchdown in each half, whether it be from stealing it or not.
A massive whiff of a fireball because you roll your own fireball, I'm pretty sure. So this is a fireball against the Orcs, and they passed 4 out of 5. So only one player went down.
You'd expect 2.5 there.
Yeah. And 2 might have been what he needed to crack the cage open, so could be bad.
Yeah, that looks like a fireball on a cage. Probably a desperation one, like he's going to score unless I do something. Fireball on the cage kind of thing. Unfortunate that it didn't quite work out, but sometimes fireballs will do that.
Yep. Fireballs are disappointments. I reminded myself that attrition fireballs don't work by trying one against Pro Elves the other day.
Yeah, there you go. Cunning Foxpup confirming he needed any 2 on the cage, and he got 1. So, and on average, you should get 2.5. So that's slightly unlucky there.
A safe play, yeah.
Yep. So Yheree to Conquer and Skilled Measures we just watched, so we don't need to take a look at that. But it is worth noting I predicted the Norse and you predicted the Lizards. So that is the first.
I already wrote it down.
Good. Just want to make sure that people know. And then in the last match of this week, we have Archangel's Will and the Rotterhood. We predicted the Wood Elves to win, and they did. 2-1 over Rotterhood. If I remember correctly, Archangel was afraid of this one, and he was like, no, don't predict me. I probably won't win. And then he won. Believe us. Have faith.
Picked up Blodge on his catcher, who did level, and the Nurgle Warrior is close, but not quite there.
Yep.
We'll probably get Claw next, maybe Stand Firm. Or Mighty Blow, I guess.
3 casualties sustained, so hopefully none of those were perms. They might have been, which is kind of what we expected. We figured Archangel's Will would win, but only if he was probably going to eat some casualties while doing so, and it looks like that happened. Although the Nurgle did sustain 2 of their own.
Yep, 2 KOs and 2 injuries to 2 KOs and 2 injuries on a nearly even number of dice. Maybe a bit frustrating for the Nurgle on that. The Wood Elves did Kaz one of their own players, dodging or something like that, and the Nurgle KO'd one of their players, so kind of created this fun mirrored effect. Lots of SPP for the Wood Elves. Not bad for the Nurgle either, but definitely pretty good for the Wood Elves.
I may have just been making that up, Archangel. I generally forget everything I said the moment that I finish editing this video. I'd forget the entire episode before next week. It goes out of my mind the moment I finished editing it. So maybe you didn't say that, but I remember talking about that and how I felt that you would win as long as you were willing to take casualties, I think, is probably what is more likely said.
Tree was an absolute unit this game, failing 0 of its take root rolls, so kind of remaining relevant the entire game, which probably helped Archangel.
In awe of the size of that lad.
Only made 11 rolls. Yes, exactly. Might have taken an injury based on the fact that it only made 11. Could have taken one of these KOs that refused to wake up, given that he failed 4 to 5.
That's unfortunate, the 4 to 5 failure on that. Speaking of big guys who don't fail things, 0 really stupids on behalf of the Beast of Nurgle as well.
But again, only 9, so probably was left standing there a lot of the time.
Which is really what you want them to do against Wood Elves. Like, if you can get that Beast of Nurgle stuck up against a couple of Wood Elf players, he is doing his job, and you just leave him there forever, and you're really happy to never touch him again.
Yep. Eight injury rolls resulting in 5 KAs/KOs is kind of bad luck for the Nurgle. Not outstandingly bad, but bad enough to make it a big problem, certainly where you're remaining equal numbers with Wood Elves.
Not a lot of POWs, like double the number of stumbles compared to POWs for the Nurgle, and depending on how much tackle they have and how much dodge Archangel has, that could be a problem, or could have been a problem.
A lot of skulls for Archangel, though, so both teams having kind of suboptimal block dice, to be sure.
Yeah.
I see at least 2 double skulls on the first page of blocking dice alone for Archangel. Yeah, just 2, but 2 on 30-something blocks is not statistically average.
Nope. Well, so after those games, we can take a look at the leaderboard. I think that's every game that's been every game. So we can take a look at the leaderboard. Things are beginning to spread out a little bit, but we've still got a lot of teams that are pretty similar here. Cake and Ironmaster are both tied with 4-1-1, but we no longer have the 5-way tie that we used to. We're down to a 2-way tie. Both of them on 16 points. However, Rock Lobstrosity, Tommy Too Tall, Lord are both on 14, which is 2 away, so 1 win. And we have Lord Teton, Archangel, Moral, and Morally, who are all on 13 points, which is also just 1 win away from tying the top 2. So there's still the top 6 teams are still, or top 7 teams. Yeah, top 7 teams are still really in the race here. But Cake and Ironmaster are ever so slightly ahead.
And just in case everyone thought that we forgot, which we probably did, but I happened to just now remember, we said at the halfway point we would predict who we think the playoff hopefuls were.
Oh, yes.
Awarding ourselves some sort of point system for it. Let's say 5 points for each correct guess.
Do we have to do that now?
Yeah.
I haven't done any of my simulations yet. I forgot that we were doing that. And
I know.
I was gonna do all the math to simulate players.
Math, boy?
I'm nothing without my math. I was gonna do Monte Carlo simulations, and
You have to guess.
I forgot we were doing this now. Can we do it next week?
No, then it won't be halfway. Then it'll be week 9 of 13. That's like predicting it when it's mostly over. It's just for fun. Come on, just go with your gut.
My gut says, well, we only get this division only gets 1, right? Or is it 2?
No, 2.
This one
Every
is 2?
division but ours gets 2. Ours in lower.
Oh, okay. So let's see. Well, can we look? Am I allowed to look at the schedule for the next few matches?
Sure. Are you gonna be quick?
No. I mean, well, the
who gets a bye? Cake gets a bye. Teton gets a bye. Archangel gets a bye, and Wood United gets a bye. So, Wood United isn't really in it. Neither is... Lord Teton could be in it. Cake getting a bye still makes Cake, I think, a pretty likely favorite. He's got 1 free win, and everyone he's competing against has already taken a free win, other than Archangel and Teton, who are 5th and 6th.
I mean,
if he keeps up with those armor dice, maybe.
The cheaty thing to say is that, Cake and Ironmaster, because they're the top 2 right now, But I really want to predict Iron. I like, my heart says that Ironmaster will be one of the top 2 for sure. And like the fact that Cake is getting a admin win certainly helps a lot. But like, I also have good feelings about Rock Lobstrosity and Tommy Too Tall. So like, it's my 2 are 2 of those 4. I just don't know which I want to pick.
I think I'm gonna go with Cake and I'm
gonna go with Ironmaster for 1. Well,
okay,
that's
cool.
True. I'll go with Ironmaster and Tommy Too Tall, and we'll make this like super
sweet. We'll just completely give up.
Yeah, I have like I'm gonna do now. I'll do my simulations or whatever, and then I'll regret every decision that I've just made. But that's fine. It is fine. So shall we predict this week?
This is Div 7, right? Yeah.
Yep. So Archangel's Will and Armor Furnace is an admin win, so nothing to say there. Rotterhood and Yheree to Conquer. Galactic doing well at the start, doing less well now. And I did just predict Ironmaster to take our playoff spot, so I feel like I need to predict Ironmaster for the win here if I want that to continue. He is down his Star Thrower, which is good for the Nurgle certainly, but
wait, did you talk about the first game, Archangel's Will versus Skilled Measures?
Archangel's Will versus Armor Furnace, which is I'm looking at the wrong week.
You turd.
I went really far through because I was looking at the results, then I forgot that I didn't go back. So sorry, Armor Furnace and the Rotterhood. Okay, that's a admin win. Archangel's Will and the Scaled Measures. Man, based on the dice that I just saw Scaled Measures have, it's really hard to give it to him.
I mean, it's hard to give it to Lizards. Wink. Anytime when you're facing Wood Elves, simply because they do have lots of strip ball generally, and Lizards do not get sure hands access without taking it on a Saurus, which is stupid.
How many what players got injured? I don't think anything that mattered got injured. No. So I'm gonna give that to Archangel's Will. I mean, we're supposed to be predicting together, and you are now gone, so it's hard to talk about predictions. What do you want me to do here, man? Make predictions without me? That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. I guess I'll just sit here like a moron. That's cool. Get some thought out of the way ahead of time, I guess, so that he doesn't complain about how long I take. Don't have much to say. He's also the one. He's also the one who records all the writes down all the predictions. So it's difficult to. I can't just say them all because then he's gonna miss them. There is not a sure hand skink. Not after that game. Who is currently the score currently in the prediction race is I'm ahead by 2 points, so 70 to 68, and a win is worth 3, so basically I'm 1 win ahead currently.
Scaled Measures do not have a sure hands block. Skink, that is cake.
Yeah, so I'm gonna predict
the wrong Lizards. I'm
gonna predict Archangel's Will for that matchup.
Me too.
So next we have Yheree to Conquer versus Sons of Sam. The fanboy in me that just predicted Ironmaster to win wants to say Ironmaster, but the Mighty Blow stacking Orc team versus Armor 7 is not something that is easy to count against for.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a really hard matchup for the Norse, but I don't trust anything anymore after watching that game.
Yeah, so. It's hard. Numbers would suggest that this is probably better for the Orcs, but numbers are a lie after that last game. So
you're gonna go with the Norse.
I
mean, you got to back up your playoff pick, right?
I mean, yeah, I do. This is what I get for predicting playoffs without actually looking at any.
I already wrote your name down. I picked the Orcs.
Sure. Okay, well, you predicted it for me, but okay. Yeah, I got to back my playoff choice, I guess. And you forced me into this because I didn't get to look at everything I wanted to look at before making playoff picks. So you're just trying to catch up now. This is you trying to make up points. Werewolf of Wall Street versus the Orcs. So we've got Doof and Cunning Foxpup. What do we think here?
Doof versus Let's see here. Doof's team is looking okay. It ate a MNG on one of its Blodge Blitzers, a Blodge Guard Mighty Blow, which is a bit tough. But other than that, is looking okay. Versus Cunning Fox Pup. Has a minus edgy werewolf, which does actually suck quite a bit, but he is doing okay otherwise. Has some good players. Is going to be aggressively outguarded. He's only got 4, maybe not. 4 is not bad actually for Necro.
Yeah. The werewolf certainly is a good shout against the orcs too. Armor 9 kind of negated from that part. Doof.
The orcs are actually outguarded, though they are gonna get some inducements. They get 140, it looks like,
which is not really much. I mean, there's not a whole lot the orcs can do. Like, they can get babes, I guess.
Yeah, this might actually be tough for the orcs because they don't have the bench, they don't have the guard. They're going to eat attrition, and they don't have any bench right now. They have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. So. Yeah, I actually think the Necro can win this.
I'm going to take the Necro as well. So we have... Sorry, Doof. We got the Rotting Snatches and Friendship is Massacre. Well, once again, I think I got to back my playoff choice, right? That's how this is.
Sure, whatever. It's a little less problematic this time around.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Nurgle with this one. He's been doing well. He's at the point where Nurgle are good, like 1800 TV, right? Like, it's getting to, like, he doesn't have every skill in the world yet, but he's getting to the point where Nurgle are actually starting to become like really, really scary and really good, being at about 1800, and you don't really care about inducements very much.
Yeah, and he is going to be missing his Star Ghoul and another Ghoul, both of which have eaten injuries. So he now has only 11 players, but that does mean he gets an insane amount of inducements. He's at 1390 after he sheds his money, Captain Busby. 1390 for that team is pretty nice.
Yeah, that's true.
He's going to have the guard advantage, but versus the 1790 of the...
400k?
So he gets 400k. He has more guard, more mighty blow, less claw mighty blow, and certainly no claw bomb. So if Cooley's anemia cousin Avi triggers, then there's going to be a lot of problems for Morley, but could still make it work. It could be an interesting match to watch, actually.
Yeah, it could be, and we haven't watched the Rotting Snatches yet, but we also are not watching matches this week.
You're not. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna back the Rotting Snatches. I'm gonna back my playoff choice because I think I gotta.
I agree, though. I think it's not as hopeless as it might seem. Morally, I believe in you.
And then we have Norse Unleashed and the Mesozoic Mighty Men. So we've got Hiroto Sukara.
Hiroto versus Cake.
Yep.
Gotta back my boy Cake, because otherwise I don't win sweet points. Let's see, where is...
It's true.
Cake? Yeah, Cake is a pending level. Hopefully it's not on a skink.
It's on a Saurus.
It's not. It's an Saurus that... Oh, and he's got tackle... No, that's good. Okay. I would pick up Frenzy or Guard. Probably Guard against Norse.
I mean, I'd like to say Lizards here because Lizards versus Norse, but we just saw how that could go earlier.
Hiroto has significantly less mighty blow as he's eaten an ungodly amount of attrition this season. So
yeah, no Yheree kind of makes a bit of a difference. The Strength 5 is just is a big deal, as well as the Claw for that matter. But he does have 2 Agi 4 pieces, one of them being Movement 7.
Yeah, it's a cool piece. I still think the Lizards are going to win.
He's a fast Norse team. So
he had the Staff Freak, like Agi ones at the start of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I want to give this to Lizards as well. I mean, the Agi pieces and the movement pieces have the ability to keep up with skinks, certainly, and he can also like outspeed the Sauruses, but the bash game is certainly going to go to the Lizards. So I'm gonna give this one to Cake as well.
Bash and the control, ideally. Wood United versus Crawdad Zydek Experience. So we got the humans versus the Wood Elves. Wood Elves traditionally struggle against humans.
Yeah, generally.
Humans did just pick up a Block Ogre, which is nice. Their bye week paying dividends for sure. They do have a Tackle Mighty Blow Palm Blitzer to cause that attrition that you need versus Wood Elves, who have now been severely trimmed. I think he's down to 11 players.
Movement Frenzy, a couple guard.
10. He's actually down to 10 players.
There's no tree either. Movement.
If you can buy one, he's got 200k in the bank.
It's true. Movement and Frenzy on one of those Blitzer pieces, as well as a decent amount of guard. This whole team is dodge, and there is only one tackle. But I think the humans will get inducements, especially if the Wood Elves buy a tree. I think this just because, like, in general, I think this is a bad matchup for the Wood Elves. So I probably will give this to Rock Atrocity, mostly just because humans are kind of favored in the human Wood Elf matchup at this sort of
only
level.
Two, Jeff, but one of them is Mighty Blow Tackle Palm, or Mighty Blow Tackle Pilot, and the other is a Block Ogre. So there's going to be some work done there. There's a lot of guard and the speed to keep up.
Yep. And even in the case of and we also have this sort of poor man's tackle in Frenzy on one of those blitzers.
Movement 8, so he's not going to have any trouble keeping up with the catchers.
Nope, and that's like when you get 2 shots at blocking them, the dodge is a little bit negated somewhat. So that'll be what my predictions are. Those are the predictions for 7, right?
They are indeed.
So shall we go take a look at REL 6? I almost said 8. We are not. That's us. That is not the division we're reviewing. So after we should look at the results. AverageRice Joes and RageDorf haven't played yet for some reason, so
I think this is the second week in a row we've had kind of a delayed game from I think RageDorf, so maybe he's got some stuff going on real life. Who knows? Yeah.
The problem is we can't tell you what our prediction score was, so we'll have to make a note to check that. Where I don't have a pen, so I can't write that down. You should make a note to check that so that we can update our prediction scores. But the other thing is, we can't show you the results. So we watched this game, All Orc No Play versus BioWare for Life. We predicted the Orcs to win, unsurprisingly, and they did. But we watched that game earlier, so we don't need to go into a ton of detail here because we did look at the game and we looked at the dice logs afterwards and stuff. Came down to a lot of failed things on the Vamps part, as Vamp games tend to do.
As of last week, whoever asked what the score is, I think it was Jeff, Steak was winning 70-68.
Yep.
So,
yeah. I mentioned that when you were away.
Oh, I see.
And next we had Rouge's Gallery and Hufflepuff Heroes. This is Khemri and Chorf. We predicted Chorfs to win, and they did. 1-0. Hobgoblin gains MVP and levels, and a Dirty Player Kick Skeleton gains MVP and does not level, thankfully, because we don't really want a third level on the Dirty Player Kick Skeleton.
No, I mean, it eating MVP is bad enough, for sure.
Yeah. 16 armor breaks, so we could see some injuries here. 2 casualties and 3 KOs sustained off 50 blocks against those claw-heavy Chorfs, which is a little surprising, but I suppose a lot of it is armor 7, so it doesn't really matter anyway.
I mean, honestly, the Khemri seem to have outpunched the Chorf.
4 KOs, 2 casualties, and a death.
I mean, they did get almost exactly the same amount of blocks, 49 to 50.
Mm-hmm. 25 ball possession, 25% ball possession, 12% in each half. This game looks like it was about as even as it could have been. I'm kind of curious. I'm a little sad we didn't see this one, but we had already watched a Khemri game.
We had.
I'm kind of interested to see how this occurred. Because that looks like that's the evenest game I can think of. Good lord, like everything is almost identical. 50 yards, 52 yards, 50 blocks, 49 blocks. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just them standing in a line and hitting each other for 16 turns.
Yeah, and then somebody breaks free and scores. Somebody breaks free and eventually scores, yeah. 1 failed intercept, which means there was a Khemri pass at some point. There was 4 Khemri passes, actually, because 2 successes and 2 failures. But 5 failed catches. So the pass working, and that might have just been 2 Khemri passes though, because the pass skill would let you reroll it.
Hopefully one, yeah. Excuse me.
But 5 failed catches, 50% pickups, 0% regen. That's not good.
No, indeed. I mean, only 2, so not that bad.
One successful bribe.
Oh, yeah. And then next we have the bad QB squad versus Fogmire Fenbeasts. We predicted the Lizards would win, and they did.
Certainly did.
Well, we knew this was going to be a rough match for the Lizards. They did actually sustain 12 armor breaks, but only got 6 KOs. The Undead, or the Underworld rather, only got 6 KOs, where the Fogmire Fenbeasts got 27 blocks, resulting in 13 armor breaks. So good armor break ratio.
Yep.
5 injuries and 2 KOs and 2 deaths.
And two more casualties sustained on top of that from dodges or whatever.
This looks like a pitch clear. The bad QB squad got all of 5 SPP from an MVP, and other than that,
it looks like they got absolutely just mopped by lizards. Like the Saurus were picking up goblins and using them to floss their teeth. Like that, this game did not go very well for the Underworld. It looks like.
No, indeed.
No.
Block dice for the Undead Underworld were actually amazing. I mean, kind of weird, actually.
Yeah.
They rolled only pushes and pows.
Yeah, nothing else.
They rolled. Some both downs, but mostly pushes and pows. Their dodges were actually amazing. 88% dodges is good, even if they were all at G4, which they're clearly not.
A lot of them would be stunty as well.
Yes, but stunty is a 1 in 3.
So yeah, they're basically guaranteed to always be 3+. Is what I'm saying. So none of those. Yeah. There's no 4+, 5+ nonsense in there likely.
Unless you got 2. He does have some 2-head players, but
yeah. Yeah.
Lizards, on the other hand, had pretty good blocking dice, kind of heavy on the pushes, and low on the both downs, which, given how much block they have, they were probably actually sad about.
Yeah.
And
just very few dice rolled.
Armor and stuff. But yeah, I mean, when you're that in control as Lizards, of course, you don't really need to roll any dice.
He failed 2 tentacles rolls. I forgot that the troll had tentacles, so that was the thing. But
he was probably dodging away with skinks, so that's not surprising that he failed them.
4 pickup attempts, 1 fire, a whole bunch of those dice were him getting fireballed on, for that matter, right?
And he only again 1 out of 4, so
only 2 dodges, only 2 catches, only 2 going for it. It's the Lizard had to play a very unrisky or risk-free, I guess is the better way of putting that game.
Little risk, certainly, yeah. I agree. It's the sort of game you always want as Lizards, where you're so in control you don't need to take any risks at all.
Yep. So then we had the Dead Wrestler Society and the Respectable Gents. So this is Lizards versus Chaos. We predicted
plus movement chaos.
Yeah, we predicted a Lizard win, and we have a Lizard win with 2-0 over the Respectable Gents.
Both MVPs did not result in levels, but they're both things you want to level on the plus movement Beastman and the rookie Croxagore.
Big John Stud.
Lizards controlled the ball almost the entire game. Got some KOs on the sides of the Chaos, but the Lizards inflicted 4 injuries and 3 kills.
3 deaths.
Brutalized.
Oh my god. This has been a violent week.
Yeah, it has.
A similar number of 40 and 39 blocks, but that's great for the Lizards. That's a serious amount of SPP, and that's bad for the Chaos. They were just starting to get their development going, and then they just lost 2 players. Let's hope they were rookie Beastmen or something.
Yes. Sounds like, yeah, there were some early deaths early on, and then from then on it just spiraled out of control, as you'd expect.
With their deaths early on, yeah, that tends to happen. Then we had in Elfoff. So we had MyStays and Jeff. This was another contentious one. We could have watched this one. We had watched both of them. We had watched MyStays before, and we had watched this one live. So it's difficult to come up with to do the reactions when we've already seen the game. Unfortunately,
it was the score was 2-2 on turn 4.
Yep, and the score ended on turn 16 at 3-2. So it was very exciting for the first few turns, and then it slowed down a lot.
I predicted MyStays, and you predicted Jeff, and you win.
Sure do. It'll make up for my forced picks this week, because they'll probably go well. They probably won't go well. Both teams picking up a lineman MVP, so I presume that neither of those players exist anymore, and they do not. So that's unfortunate. But at least the touchdown SPP are a thing that some players will get. But yeah, that was a game. A lot of passes, a lot of wood elves on wood elves. Slightly more blocks for Jeff. He inflicting 4 KOs, whereas MyStays inflicted 1 injury, so more removals, but more sort of permanent for the match removals on the side of MyStays. Despite 0 injuries inflicted, though, MyStays sustained 3, so a lot of injuries off of death floor.
There were a lot of snakes into things, as I saw. MyStays had some real roughly timed things. So.
Oh, Jeff says he bought his loaner, so.
Oh, really? We don't see it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe it got a new name, or it's a new player ID or something when they buy it, so maybe it changes. Well, because it won't have loaner anymore, right? Because you buy it, so.
They have to remake a player with the same name.
Yeah. So that player exists still, certainly. 1 casualty and 1 KO sustained for Jeff, so looks like he managed to outbash MyStays, as it were, and then after the 2-2 nonsense of the elves being elves at each other, slowly removing more players will allow you to control the game a bit more and end up taking the win that way.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's something that I mentioned too, is that I guess... No, I'm thinking of a different Wood Elf team. Never mind.
And then we have Norse versus Lizards, which did go the way of the Norse, which we expected.
Yep, Great Cold Ones and Economy of Scale. We predicted the Norse... Sorry, I was looking at the Norse versus Lizards in Division 7, because Norse and Lizards in these two divisions are everywhere. No, this is the Division 6 Norse versus Lizards game.
Jesus. Eyes and Mike controlled the ball 87% of the time, inflicting 3 KOs and 2 injuries.
81% of the time in his opponent's half.
Yep, that's real rough.
Looks like Economy of Scale just couldn't do anything this game. Like, never had the ball, had way less blocks. They did get an injury, a kill, and a KO, but sustained 3 casualties and 4 KOs of their own. So it looks like Eisenmike mostly had this one in his hands for most of the game.
Almost all of it, it would seem. Yeah, looks like... I mean, the dice don't look incredibly bad. Let's see.
The block dice look pretty good for the Norse.
They don't look bad for the Lizards, though, either.
Certainly don't, no.
Bad boneheads. Some loner rolls in there, which is never a good sign. 0 pickup rolls, so he never tried to pick up the ball.
Never even tried is impressive.
Might have gotten a high kick or something like that, because there is a catch roll in here.
Yep, so there
could be that he just already had the ball, but that is interesting.
Yeah, let's see.
And then the last one hasn't been played, but we did actually predict a contentious thing for that. We were going to watch this one, by the way, Lizard versus Dorf, but
yeah, because this was the contentious one from this division that we hadn't watched yet, and we haven't seen an AverageRice Joe's game. We have watched Dorf, but we hadn't watched either BioWare for Life or All Orc No Play, so knocking off 2 people in one review there.
So let's look at the leaderboard. MyStays still on top despite his loss at 5-0-2. All Orc No Play.
1 point behind.
4-2-1.
Yeah, 1 point behind.
RageDorf has not played his game, so could pull into first if he wins.
By 1 point.
Mr. J is also right there. Lots of contention for the top spots. This is another two playoff ticket division, so we'll have to predict both, which we should do now.
Yeah, let's see. So the players that are still certainly in contention, we've got MyStays, Fugyu, Unseen Walker, Mr. J, Drenar, AverageRice, Rolling Red, and Furl are all within sort of striking distance of the top. RageDorf could go there depending on whether he wins this game or not. Let's see. I want to put MyStays as one of my picks. I mean, it's pretty a safe one. He's out there. 5-0-2.
We don't. I'm gonna pick RageDorf as my first pick.
RageDorf was going to be my second pick. So
get bent.
Am I not allowed to pick them now?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
I thought I didn't know those were the rules before we started this. I didn't know we weren't allowed to pick the same ones. I thought we could just we had to pick 2 players.
No, No, we can totally pick
I
this.
thought we just had to pick 2 players. I'm going to pick my stays and
Sorry,
Rage
because
Dwarf.
I also think my stays. So I'll pick the Orcs just to be spicy, I guess. But
Sure. But it's difficult because there's a lot of teams, like I said, that are still in contention for this, right? It's hard because we haven't actually seen one of the results, which could change things a bit with Rage Dwarf going up there.
With my stays and
Unseen Walker. Yeah. But because currently there are, the top 8 teams within a reasonable distance with the amount of games that are left. But my stays, and if Unseen Walker wins this and Fugu are kind of are starting to pull ahead, assuming Rage Dwarf wins this game, which they may or may not, I don't know. But assuming they do, it'll be 16, 15, 14, and then 13, 13, 12, 12, 12, 12. So we're starting to see a bit of a separation there. So you kind of have to pick the teams that are out front a little bit, I think. But like, even considering Jeff down in 10th currently in the division, still has 9 points, which is only 2 wins behind first place, is not actually that like, he's 3-0-4 and my stays is 5-0-2, and with what 6 weeks left still, if there's some wins and losses there, that could easily flip depending on who you have to play, right?
AverageRice and Rage Dwarf. If someone wins that game, they will either tie first or be first. So there's like a lot of movement that we can see this week. I mean, AverageRice is still totally in it as well, even though he's 6th because he hasn't played his game.
I mean, Jeff still has an outside chance at it despite being in 10th.
I'm sure you're going to run your simulations. So what Ben will do probably is run his simulations and then post them either in REL chat or in like the description of his videos, so you can see how his simulations are playing out. If he feels like running them every week, we'll find out.
Well, I have to do all the work to set them up initially, but once they're set up initially, it's no work anymore to continue them. I just have to do the work to get them going, because a lot of, like, I did not set them up in a good way initially. It was just like Excel documents and stuff, so I have to do a lot of copy paste of match setups. Like, I have to copy paste all the team names for, like, week 8 to 13 basically, so that there's a list of all the matches that I've yet to play. So it's a bit of manual work, and it depends on whether I can have actual work to do at work or not, because I'll just do it at work.
Fair enough. So let's get to the predictions before the night fades away.
Yep.
We have AverageRice and All Orc no play first, so we have 2 playoff contenders.
Yeah.
Orcs with very control-heavy Orcs
versus like the bog standard control sort of lizard team.
The team they're aiming to beat, out-control the lizards. Something that Orcs are usually pretty good at, especially because they do have that kill potential. AverageRice has not played a game, so might get some levels. He's really close to leveling both Mighty Blow pieces. Tackle would not really matter. Versus, I don't think the Orcs have any dodge. That would be a double and would take away from his... Oh, he actually does have 2 dodge. So, tackle wouldn't be a bad pickup for chasing down those last... those, like, escaping blitzers. I also wouldn't hate break tackle on a Mighty Blow piece. All good things, I think. Even guard Mighty Blow is a perfectly fine thing to have. So yeah, like, depending on how the level ups go and how that game goes in general, we could see a very different lizard team facing off against the Orcs. But it's gonna be a good one. I think this is like a game to watch.
It's difficult to decide which way that goes, because they're both very good control-y teams. There are 6 strength 4 block with some guard versus 4 strength 4 block with some guard. But then there's the Skinks versus the Orcs, the armor 9.
And the Orcs have 5 guard and a strength 5 piece of their own that does not have a nega trait, so gonna be a big ask. The lizards are outguarded, outstrengthed, or at least nearly outstrengthed, and I think a lot is going to be riding on skink nonsense and really good positioning. This is going to be a really good test of both coaches' pitch control game.
It's going to be it's so hard to that's really hard to pick a result for. I don't think it'll be a tie. We're not allowed to predict ties anyway.
Yeah. Let's go contentious, and I'll let you pick first because I'm feeling bad because I've pressured you into things.
Okay, I think I want to pick Orcs.
I did not predict the Orcs. Oh no, I did predict the Orcs would win. Then I have to give it to the Orcs.
But
I think we just predicted the Orcs the same because the Orcs are my playoff pick. So
oh, I see. Oh yeah. I'll make it contentious. I picked the Orcs. Never mind, I won't.
I know I kind of fucked that up.
Yeah, this one could come down to one critical turn. It could come down to one critical removal. It could come down to one critical dice roll. Like, this is going to be a close game, and it's going to be hard for both coaches. So it'll be a good one.
If the Lizards go on defense first and eat a good foul from the Orcs, like that could really, tilt the game in the Orcs' favor.
Yeah. So next we have the Great Cold Ones. We have 2 pending level ups on linemen, so that's a little annoying. And the Rage Dorf, the dwarf team. I mean, we both have Rage Dorf as a playoff pick, so that's the thing.
Also, it's Dorf versus Norse, which is not usually a good matchup for the Norse.
No, I kind of want to go Dwarfs on this one. I mean, the guard is going to be difficult for the Norse to deal with, certainly. There is the Yheree available for the claw, and he has claw mighty blow block, certainly.
There's only 11 dwarfs, so like all removals are good removals, but it is still going to be a tough fight.
There's a lot of guards stand firm there for the dwarves. There's a lot of dodge for the Norse, surprisingly, but dwarfs don't care.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be an interesting game. Both are really good coaches, obviously, but I have to go with the dwarfs.
Same. Economy of scale and the elements of styles. We've got My Stays and Furl. My Stays currently at the top. Furl still within striking distance with 403. Not unreasonable.
Yeah, he's gonna get some inducements, but he's down a Saurus, which ate an AV bust in his last game. He has 0 tackle, 2 block. Yeah, this is gonna be a real tough game.
I think the biggest thing here is that Lizards versus Wood Elves is already favored in the Wood Elves side.
The teams, is just heavily leaning towards the
Wood
Elves.
And my Stace has a really good Wood Elf team on top of the fact that it's already favored for Wood Elves. And on top of that is that the Lizards are a little beaten up. They don't really have the Sauruses. They don't have the Skinks, like good skinks, super good Skinks. So there's a lot of things stacked against Furl here, I think. So it's hard. Gonna have to predict My Stays.
Agreed.
Foul targets and respectable gents. So we've got Jeff and his Woodies. He's got the core players that really matter: the strip ball, the good catchers, the thrower, and we've got the Chaos, who suffered a couple deaths last game. Looks like none of them were on Chaos Warriors, thankfully. Or maybe there was one, because he does have what looks like a brand new Chaos Warrior. That's a brand new Chaos Warrior, so there was a Chaos Warrior death. A couple block, but the big deal is no sure hands and only 1 guard. So it's going to be really, really hard for them to defend against Jeff's War Dancers, because we don't have 2 guard to make the cage really safe, and we don't have sure hands to defend against the strip ball. So I think this is another Wood Elf favored match.
Sorry, I was dealing with an admin thing. Schedule, it is Jeff versus Respectable Gents. I know you just did this. All right, the Movement Gales, I can see the Welf decision there.
Fair enough. Dead Wrestler Society and the Bad QB Squad. So we've got our Underworld denizens. And we've got
Lizards again. Every if you can't think of it, it's definitely Lizards.
Right. That's Stranar's Lizards, right?
Yep.
The one with that's a dumb skink and a lot of developed Saurus.
Yep. It's going to be real hard for the Underworld to get any good blocks here. They might cause some damage, but it's like as soon as they start taking blocks, it's going to go horrible for them. They also sustain some deaths. Were they anything important? They only have 1 Blitzer, so maybe
they only have 1 Blitzer, and they're gonna have a bunch of loner, like a decent number of loner goblins. On top of that, the Blitzer is niggled, it's like there is the Blitzer and the Troll who could potentially get some casualties, and that's like I would be not surprised if they did, like if there was a Saurus or two who got injured. But I think even despite that, that's not going to be enough to stop the Saurus from winning. Like even if they, or the Lizards from winning, even if they lose the Saurus, like that's fine. Like there just aren't enough threats on the undead, or not undead, underworld side to like take advantage of removing a Saurus. Like the Lizards lose a Saurus, they're like, who cares? Whatever. You just don't have any other players that are useful currently. I mean, it's not impossible because Underworld and Claw can always activate, but I think the majority of the time still go to Lizards.
Lizards, yeah. Lizards for sure.
It's
going to be a tough matchup for the Underworld, as most Underworld matchups are, once you start taking attrition.
Yeah, like, it's not impossible because Underworld, right? Certainly, but it's not going to be easy. I think the majority of the time it would go to the Lizards here, so got to pick the Lizards.
Then we have Chorfs versus Lizards. Fogmire Fenbeasts, which is the Mighty Blow Frenzy Lizards that have now picked up Guard, so they have 3 Guard at least, versus the Chorf. That plus armor ain't gonna avail you nothing.
It certainly is not.
But the AV bust, yeah, it cancels out. It's fine. It doesn't. I'm kidding.
You know, 3 Claw Chorfs is certainly going to be rough against some Lizards.
This is not going to be an easy game for the Lizards. I predict the Lizards will have a bad time.
Yeah, I want to go with the Chaos Dwarfs as well. I mean, the Lizards are going to end up in a big fight versus the Chaos Dwarfs likely, because that's what happens against Dwarves. And with the Thick Skull, the bunch of players that have Guard, Mighty Blow, Claw piling. There's one Claw Mighty Blow piling on Horns, dude. There's both Sure Hands and Strip Ball on the side of the Chaos Dwarves. I think that it'll be. This is a Chaos Dwarf favored game. And we have Hufflepuff Heroes versus BioWare for life. So, spoilers, this Tomb Guardian, the triple doubles Tomb Guardian that we all love so much, has leveled. And I've been reliably informed that his 4th level up is also doubles. Just so everybody's aware out there. This is a 4 doubles in a row Tomb Guardian. Although at this point, he's strongly considering just not taking the doubles, because what else?
I mean, like, what do you take? Sidestep? No, you take
Pro.
Probably Guard, Mighty Blow, or Break Tackle, I'd say. All 3 of them are amazing options.
Break Tackle with dodge is so good.
Yes.
On Strength 5.
Strength 5, Movement 4 as well. It's like they're faster than mummies. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. I mean, I don't know. You could take Pro, but that seems like that's just like I really want to use. That's more of a I want to utilize the double more than I want to have a good skill, because I think like Mighty Blow or Break Tackle or Guard would be better for your team than Pro would be.
Yep.
But
if you go like Guard, Stand Firm, the only issue with taking anything other than Mighty Blow is that if you don't take Mighty Blow, this player is basically never going to level again. But
yeah.
So you gotta kind of build him to be complete. So I'd be tempted to take Guard or Break Tackle, because Mighty Blow would just take too long to level him, and he's probably gonna die.
The only double I can think of that is even like useful is Pro, and it's just not worth taking over one of the normals. Anyway, we'll talk about that next week. He is playing against BioWare for Life, the Vampires, Mr. Sickfish. Dire Sickfish.
This is an interesting one.
Yeah, it is. The Khemri certainly have the strength and like punching advantage, but they're not going to be able to respond very well to vamp nonsense, because the vamps will be able to like hypno-gaze that one Guard Tomb Guardian. They'll be able to hypno-gaze Tomb Guardians, who are kind of the cornerstone of the whole Khemri team, being strength 5. The Mighty Blow Blitzraw is certainly going to go Thrall hunting and will probably succeed fairly well. But it's an armor 7 fight. I'm really interested to see this, but we've watched both of those teams, so it's we definitely won't be watching this one.
As we've not had a contested pick, do you want to just make one for fun?
Yeah, why not?
What do you think, Ben?
That's a really good question. Like, my heart wants the Khemri because of that Tomb Guardian. He's so fun. I like him a lot. There is a decent amount of AG3, which will help with the ball handling, certainly. But they're going to have a hard time responding to Vamp nonsense. Let's go. Man, I don't like it. I don't want to pick either one.
Do you want me to pick one?
Sure. You can pick one. I'll take the other.
I pick the Khemri.
Okay. That's fine. I will take the Vamps.
Because I could just see you, like, death spiraling over there.
Yeah, well, I was like, at first I thought the Vamps, and then I thought Khemri, and then I thought Vamps, and then I thought Khemri, and you're like, I picked Khemri, and I was like, okay, good. That'll solve my problem for me. There we go. Predictions. Boom.
Boom.
Let's put up the title screen. That is us for this week. We will be back for our regularly scheduled div review next Wednesday for week 8. And I will try to remember to do my prediction or my my simulation stuff, depending on whether or not I get time. But I will certainly give it a shot, because those are always fun to see, and say who is currently in or out of the running for playoffs, etc. is mostly what it's for, because it essentially it's difficult to simulate Blood Bowl in that it's kind of random, and a lot of the times the games are low scoring. So the way I generally do it is just sort of simulate a score. And since a lot of games end up as 2-1 or 1-0 or what have you, it's difficult. You end up with a lot of sort of ties predicted, because the score variations are large and all that kind of nonsense. I won't get into all the reasons of why it's not good, but it is not a great simulation. But basically what it's for is to just sort of see who has an off chance of making the playoffs, right? If somebody has a 1% chance of making the playoffs, according to my simulation, there is still some way that they could make it, which is basically what it's for. It's to calculate all those weird situations in which someone could make the playoffs without having to do as much work.
Exactly.
So that's been us. We will see you next week. I hope you enjoyed it. Until then, I've been Steakmittens.
And I'm Shadorra.